Why reality TV will always put drama before welfare. Editors note the opinions in this article are the authors, as published by our content partner, and do not represent the views of MSN or Microsoft. The world inside the Love Island villa in Mallorca is so glamorous that since the show began in 2015, it has driven a 23% rise in British holidaymakers desperate to try to recreate it with their friends. In fact, the show, which follows the drama surrounding the coupling and uncoupling of housemates over the course of 2 months, is actually more about offering aspiration than tales of true love. Its contestants are only. What is often missed out of this irresistible package that is dangled before applicants is that once the show comes to very high profile and the final episode of 2018 series, won by Danny Dyer and Jack Fincham, was watched by a record 4.1 million, beyond the luxury villa walls the reality of returning to a normal life is not just hard, it's impossible. Your normal life. On the morning of Saturday, March 16th, the body of Mike Thalassides, 26, a contestant on the third series of Love Island, which aired in 2017, was found in woods near his Essex home. It was confirmed amid the outpouring of grief at the death of the man who had been jokingly dubbed Muggy Mike during his time in the villa, a name that took on a less light-hearted tone in tabloids and on social media. Once the show finished, there was a desperate call for the psychological aftercare received by contestants to improve. Rachel Fenton, Health Secretary Matt Hancock said, "I think that it is a duty of any organization putting people in the position of making them famous overnight that they should also look after them afterwards." This was addressed to, can there ever be enough help put in place for contestants faced with such a swift blast of fame, with all the social media trolls, tabloid attention, criticism, as well as the huge amounts of money and life-changing opportunities that accompany it? What infrastructure? TV psychologist Joe Hemmings tells Grazia that this new aftercare policy might not be able to solve problems, but adds, aftercare can certainly alleviate the bewilderment, disappointment, and anxiety that many feel when they come back into the real world. I offer this as a. Mike's death was preceded by the reported suicide of 32-year-old Sophie Grattan, a contestant on Series 2 in 2016. Her parents have since disputed that her death was suicide, and an inquest is due to determine the cause. There have been many applicants for shows such as Love Island don't seem to be aware that their true self is something producers aren't entirely interested in representing. Pantomime character. There is an argument that these people know exactly what they are letting themselves in for you, and that their desire for more fame leads them to disregard underlying mental health problems that fame could only make worse. But these are young people.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.